Knicks family, what's poppin' with you? It's your boy. Welcome to the Shootaround, ladies and gentlemen. The morning after. And you know, the morning after, for a lot of people, doesn't really pertain to basketball. But on this show, the morning after pertains to basketball, ladies and gentlemen. And we about to go ahead and chop it up. How are you feeling now? You've had a couple hours to sleep on the game. Couple of hours to digest this whole James Harden thing, the whole Kevin Durant and the Brooklyn Nets destroying the Knicks with a bunch of vagabonds, if that's what you want to call it. You had some time to sleep on it. So let's talk about it, man. Let's just talk about it. How you feeling now? And what should Tom Thibodeau be addressing with the team this morning as they enter practice, enter shoot-around? That's what this show is about, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to go ahead and get down to it. Got a couple of guys here in the chat. You know, we're going to get their opinions, I guess. You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and let's get to it, ladies and gentlemen. And the first thing we're going to talk about, though, the first thing that we're going to get into is it time for a shakeup? Is it time for a shakeup in the lineup, the lineups, however you want to call it? Because whatever we're doing right now is clearly not working. It's not working. You know what I'm saying? You seen last night? Again, we struggled. Well, we scored the ball okay. But defensively, do we want to talk about defensively? Do we want to talk about what happened defensively last night? It was terrible because the Brooklyn Nets basically did whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted, however they wanted, and there was nothing that the New York Knicks could do about it. But let's get to it, man. Excuse me. Sorry, my volume was low. I got my guys in the chat. We got Prince, we got Nate, we got Isaiah, and we're going to go ahead and, you know, we're going to do what we do, ladies and gentlemen. Prince, I'm going to start with you, man. How are you feeling this morning now that you had a little bit of time to sleep on it, a little bit of time to maybe get your mind right? How you feeling?
I definitely came in the gym dapping up, gave Kevin a dap. You know what I'm saying? Gave one of them, you know, head nods to RJ, like, you know, good game, but you still in the doghouse. Mitch, you know what I'm saying, definitely came and gave him a pat. Julius, me and Julius sat down this morning, you know, let him understand that he can't let his frustrations take over, even though things ain't going right. He had a good game, but still as a leader, you got to show us better body language when things are going wrong. But one of the first things we will talk about today, Sim, is defense. I think that's a catalyst of the loss last night. One of the things me and you've been talking about in the pre-games as far as guard play. And we are getting outplayed at the guard position, and defensively, like we just not on the right pages. And I don't know if that's because Quickly has been out for these couple, you know, weeks. So now he's getting back in the flow of things. I don't know if that's Austin Rivers not knowing the plays, but today we'll figure all of that out. But again, it's just no cohesiveness like it once was, and things have to change. And if that's, you know, maybe shipping guys out of here a lot earlier than what we expected, but, you know, things do have to change when it comes to our productivity and the way that we are effective on defense. And lately, we have not been effective at all.
Okay. All right. So well, let me get around to these guys first. Nate, coming to you, man. You look like you just woke up, Nate. I don't know. It's almost 1 o'clock. You couldn't have just woke up, bro. But you look like you just woke up. You know what I'm saying? Well, I guess Nate, can you unmute yourself?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
you
back.
you got to use your controls, bro. Use your controls.
Oh man. Well, I didn't get to really give my input last night's game. I'm gonna be very frank and honest. I was embarrassed. It was an embarrassing loss. I get that KD was on the other side, but outside of KD, there was a bunch of scrubs playing that probably won't, like Doris Burke said, I think in the podcast, won't play in that rotation again altogether. I thought the Knicks played with no heart. They were outworked, out-hustled. I mean, that game wasn't even close the whole time. It was a complete breakdown of defense. Offensively, I don't know what the hell we're doing. Peyton's got to go. I'm sorry. I get it with Peyton. I mean, I get he can be efficient. I get he can score points. I just don't see the ball moving like it should be with Peyton. We need to change a point guard. I think Knox needs more playing time. RJ came out of his funk, started hitting the mid-range. Hey, man, nothing wrong with the mid-range. Dwayne Wade made a career off the mid-range. So, I mean, RJ's got to get easier baskets. Randall played well. We have no bench. Obi Toppin was in there for like 30 seconds.
So we know all of that. We get all of that.
I know. I didn't get to talk to you last night.
We had the rundown last night. So what we're looking at today, everybody got that already. What we're looking at today is what is Tom Thibodeau bringing to practice? What is he saying in practice? What is he saying in shoot-around? How is he addressing the team? What kind of lineup changes should you be making? Right? That's what we're here to analyze and break down right now.
Okay.
What kind of lineup changes are you trying to make, or any kind of changes? Strategic changes, whatever. What are we doing in practice today?
So honestly, for me, you got to get Peyton out of the lineup and put Quickly in. I need more ball movement. I think Quickly brings that. I'm pulling Bullock and putting on the bench and bringing in Knox because we need more shooters for that zone. And Knox has been shooting well. I like your idea of playing zone. I think that our deep man-to-man defense is horrible. We're getting backdoored left and right. I think a zone defense would be probably better for us to do. I mean, they're doing it to us, so why not we do it to them? And I think we have to play at a little bit more.
They can shoot, Nate.
I think we have to play a little bit more at a quicker pace on offense so they don't set up in the zone all the time. I think that's the problem too, is that we walk it up the court and they get set up in their zone and then we're screwed. We either give the ball to Randall and let him take a fadeaway shot, or we shoot a three. I mean, that's literally what I see from our offense. So I think we got to play at a quicker pace and keep them from getting into the zone.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree that, we should try out some zone every once in a while, see if we can mix some things up, because we're getting beat back door. You get beat back door. I mean, here's the thing with doing the zone, though, right? The problems that we're having on man-to-man, playing man-to-man, the zone is only going to mask those problems. It's not going to solve those problems, right? To solve those problems, we have to do it in practice. I don't want to play a zone simply because we're not playing good man-to-man. If I play a zone, and I'm not opposed to the Knicks playing a zone, I think Tom Thibodeau should use the zone every once in a while. If we play a zone, it's so that we can maybe sometimes give Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson, those guys playing heavy minutes a rest while we're playing defense. Let them sit still for a minute because they're not chasing. Julius Randle had to chase Kevin Durant last night and still scored, and he did a good job. He was still efficient from the field. He was scoring himself, right? But he had to chase Kevin Durant around the court last night. We were chasing all of their players around the court last night. And I'm not saying that the zone would have solved our issues last night, but maybe it would have slowed them down just a little bit, right? So that we didn't have to chase. I mean, they shot 40% from three anyway, so that we didn't have to chase them. You know, and maybe we would have had a little bit more energy on the other side of the basketball, or come down the stretch, or who knows? You know what I'm saying? But I'm just not opposed to them playing a little bit of zone as well. Hold up. I'm coming to you. Now, the only thing is you want to teach man-to-man principles. And if he doesn't feel like the team has good man-to-man principles, he may be wanting to work on those man-to-man principles.
We gotta work on our allowing penetration, man. I mean, the last couple of games, especially the Charlotte game, I mean, they were getting in the paint like nobody's business, and we've got to tighten up that paint. Like, either you're going to guard the three or you're going to guard the paint. And right now, I think I'd rather guard the paint. You know, because I mean, we have nobody there to stop. You know, and like we're getting backdoored left and right. Like, it's frustrating, man. It's frustrating.
Yeah. Hey, G Fresh, you gotta move. You gotta change your camera, because right now you got your. Yeah, there you go.
All right, good.
All right, go ahead, Isaiah.
Hey, what's going on, son? What's going on, everybody? So basically, what last night I was on Game, so I talked about a few things, but for today, what the Knicks have to do, if I'm the Knicks, man, first we got to do a point guard lineup change. It's time to put quickly in. We're going to see if he's going to crash or burn. He's putting in the work. Clearly, he's putting in the work. Last couple of days we've seen him in the gym late night. Definitely going to do that because, again, right, I said it earlier. I even said it during our win streak with Peyton, is that he doesn't push the pace. He really doesn't. He brings up the ball every game. He does, and I get it. Sometimes it's good to have that, but literally he does not bring up the ball with pace. And these guys get to be set in their defenses, and they get to set up the zone. That's one thing. I think Kevin Knox these last couple of games has proved that he should be put in that lineup. I think we should get a little more length in that lineup because we play a little small sometimes, but it's good to have another 6'9", 6'10" guy in there so we can get some more rebounds. And definitely, I would like to see Kevin Knox go. So to me, it would be quickly RJ, Kevin Knox, Randall, and Mitch. I would change up the lineup like that. New Orleans Noel, I'm so over this dude. Huge disappointment. He's been so bad, and I'm actually kind of shocked because I thought we were going to get at least a Thunder version of him where he played good. This dude has been absolutely garbage. I mean, there were rumors about him not wanting to be here, and I guess he's proving that he doesn't want to be here. Like I said, he's been playing bad, so I think we should just give his minutes to Tom Gibson whenever Tom Gibson's played to play. I would like to see Taj in the second unit. I think him and Obi would really be good. And I think Obi can definitely learn a lot from Taj Gibson. And then, like, I agree with you, Sam. I think we should play a little bit more zone. And again, right, I'm a big person in that this is just a Band-Aid. This is not going to solve anything. The Knicks are going to have to learn this year. These Knicks are going to have to learn how to play man-to-man defense until Thibs can truly get the guys that he want here. So the way we want to work with these guys is that they got to have to learn to play man-to-man defense. Zone, like you said, it's going to fix it. It's not going to fix nothing. It's going to be a Band-Aid on a Dan. The Knicks.
Well, I don't even think you use the zone as a way to say, well, we're trying to mask this or mask that. You just use it as a strategy. You know what I'm saying? It's not about, trying to mask any of your weaknesses to me. It's just about using it as a strategy of the game.
Yeah, so, yes, yeah, I agree with you. So, honestly, Sam, and after this, G Fresh can go. If I'm Tom Thibodeau, I'm taking Payton out the lineup, taking Noel's out the lineup, and hopefully these guys get injured. I mean, I didn't mean to say get injured. Hopefully the other guys start getting better so that we can see Obi Toppin play more. And then when Alex Burks come back, and Frank, hopefully, even though he's not going to be reevaluated until a week, hopefully Frank come back. And then now you're seeing guys who can shoot a little bit better get back in these lineups, and then we can have more spacing and we can actually move the ball a little bit more. You have guys like Frank, guys like Quickly that want to move the ball, that want to keep the ball moving. I think that would be a little bit better than what we're seeing right now. And again, I think that upgrades our defense too with Frank coming back. And I don't know about Alex. I don't know if Alex Brooks is a good defender. I don't know. But You're getting shooting back. You get spacing back with Burks and Frank, and you put quickly in that lineup. I think that'd be better. So again, you get two. Alex Burks is a better shooter than Frank, but you get some good shooting back, and Obi Toppin, hopefully, we could get him doing some pick and rolls and stuff coming back. I don't really want to see him shoot threes as much, but he can space the floor and spread the floor with his passing. So once some of these guys get back, I think we'll be a lot better if we take Payton and Noel's out and just rock what we're rocking over there.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm just not sure that Quickly can do it defensively. I watch him defensively, and he gets beat fairly easy. Even if he's not letting someone go back door or whatever, guys are just put their shoulder on his chest and move him out the way and get to the basket.
But that was going to happen though. But
that's what I'm saying. One of the reasons why I don't think he should be starting. I think he's going to get bowled over by there's going to be some point guards that don't, like a De'Aaron Fox is small, his size, but a lot of these older point guards, I think it's just going to bull them out the way easy and get to the basket. And I think that'll be a big issue. With him, the same way, that's why he came out early against the Jazz, because Mike Conley was just giving it to him. We seen last night Bruce Brown a few times just bull his way past Emmanuel Quickly, just like that, because of the size difference and the strength difference. He's a very, very small dude. For us, he's not. He's 6'3". He's 6'3", 190, but in the NBA, he's small. Let me get to G Fresh. G Fresh. What kind of lineup shakeups are you looking at, man?
Well, it's real difficult. What I kind of just see what we probably have to do. Well, I think the first thing is we're not healthy at this point. So until we get full healthy, then that's when we can start really making the right changes. So I know a lot of people want to start Quickly, but Quickly, there's an issue with his defense, and he gets pulling out. So that's, it's the trade-off. You get Quickly's offense, and he moves the offense, or you put Payton in and you just keep him for his defense, but you have to deal with the fact that, Payton's going to have games where he might have these magic games and he gives you 20, and then one game he's just giving you 8. So it's, Ted has to kind of really figure out what is the best lineup, for this team to be successful. But I think you can't panic. You can't panic at this point, but there has to be a sense of urgency. But I think the overall thing is, I think you have to start Knox. I think he had the last few good games, 13 one game, 19 the other game. So I think you have to just let the guy rock. I think with Reggie Bullock, yes, he has the defense, but I don't think his defense is that great where it's superior over Knox. It's just Knox makes little silly mistakes here and there, but for overall, when you really watch Knox, he hustles, he plays defense, he blocks shots. I don't see Reggie Bullock blocking shots like Knox. So I think you got to give Knox. I think you got to give Knox the nod and start him over Bullock, and because for what Bullock's supposed to be, a 3-and-D guy, the efficiency for me is not there, and the consistency is not there for a guy that's a veteran. So I think, start Knox, and then you just go from there. Wait till Alex Burke get healthy. Wait till Taj gets in the lineup. Wait till Obi. And then if that 10 games span you're analyzing everything, then you could really shake it up and then say, all right, well, who we going to trade for at that point? Because you don't want to waste Randall or what he's doing right now. If you was to pair him up, and I know a lot of people in the chat, even yesterday, saying we should trade for Levine. I don't think we jump ship right now for that, but wait another 10 games, wait till everybody's healthy, and then you see where we at.
Okay. All right, we're going to come back to that for sure. Right, talking about Zach Lavine, and there's some other things that I have in mind as well. Going into the future, not just trade deadline. I definitely think Knox needs to start over Austin Rivers. I'm just not satisfied with what I see from Austin Rivers right now, and maybe it's because he doesn't know the offense. Maybe it's because between him and Elfrid Payton in that starting lineup is just too dribble heavy, right? When you looked at the Nets play last night, there were not a whole lot. I mean, there were times, of course, when one guy is dribbling the basketball. That's going to happen. But for the most part, the ball was popping and guys were moving. You know what I'm saying? Like just popping and moving. And that's how they get those quick shots up. And their cuts were sharp. Their passes were sharp. All those things were sharp. And it makes it difficult. It makes it very difficult. One of the reasons I think that Tom Thibodeau has Julius Randle playing point forward is because, especially right now, when Alec Burks was out and these guys were out, I think Tom Thibodeau kind of commissioned Elfrid Payton to go to the basket and try to score the basketball. I really do. If you notice, after those first two games when Elfrid Payton did not play well, he came out, he had 29 points, 27, 29 points or whatever it is. Then all of a sudden, he started getting up 13, 14 shots a game. And I was thinking like, why is Elfrid Payton shooting so much? I really feel like Tom Thibodeau said, we need you to go to the basket, and if you got the lane, shoot it. Because we didn't have, you were missing Alec Burks, you were missing so many people. I don't know, but it feels that way, and it seems that way because if it wasn't that way, and Tom Thibodeau didn't want him shooting the ball as much as he is, he would say, don't shoot the ball. You know what I'm saying? He's shooting more than I want him to shoot the ball because he's clearly not efficient. He does a great job getting to the basket, right? But he can't hit. He's not accurate in hitting the floater. Sometimes his pull-up jump shot can be on, half the time it's not. But what he does do that gets me, he'll penetrate into three people and then pick up the basketball. And then he's got to try to find a pass out of it, right? You see guards like Steve Nash, they might dribble in, but they never pick up the dribble. They come back out, boop, 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 and then try to, find a way to get the ball out of their hands. Or they dribble along that baseline to the other side of the court, and find somebody. But he dribbles into three people, then he picks it up. Now, what I do see that lately he's tried to, before he gets into 3 and 4 people, he'll get into the lane. By the time he gets to that dotted line, he's trying to kick it out. So I think that's something that maybe they've pointed out to him. I've seen him do it the last 2 games. I've seen him try to get that thing out of his hands before he got crowded with 3 or 4 people. We'll see if that's something that continues. Austin Rivers, I know there's people that say, well, Austin Rivers should stay in the starting lineup and pull Elfrid Payton out. One, I'm not sure if Austin Rivers knows the plays, right? And then, because he hasn't had a full practice, that's what Austin Rivers said. And then 2, the more that I watch Austin Rivers, the more I see these lapses on defense where, something happens, something boneheaded happens, just like a boneheaded lapse. And I'm like, that. And then, he'll either point to himself like my fault, or he'll be like, yo, what happened? What happened? Let's see what happens when he gets, when he finally has the plays down, and if that's something that Tom Thibodeau goes to, Now, at some point, Tom Thibodeau might just be like, forget it, and put Quickly out there and deal with whatever the defensive woes. Now, if he goes zone, that might help mask it. That might help out a little bit. But clearly, that point guard position and somebody that is going to really man that position and really be that leader out there is needed on squad. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's obviously not on this squad, and it feels like for the remainder of this year, we're going to be, these are the guys that we got to deal with. So we got to figure out how to get the best out of these guys, I think that Tom Thibodeau, though, really should, when they get into practice, if you're talking about speeding up the pace, we were talking about it last night. I don't feel like that first lineup is built to play a fast game. Although you can try to beat, you can try to beat the zone up the floor. At least try to beat the zone up the floor. But to try to play a full out up tempo game, I just don't feel like this lineup is built for it. And the second unit, when you talk about having Quickly, and when Burks is back, Burks out there on the floor, Kevin Knox, Obi Toppin, and then whoever you have at your center spot, I think they are fully built to run because, although Knox isn't like pure, like catch the ball on your fingertips and your toes and get up in the air, he can knock down that three and spread the floor. Alec Burks, he can catch the ball and on a drop of a dime get in the air and shoot it. Obi Toppin, he hasn't knocked down those threes in the NBA yet, but I think he can shoot. So he's a guy that can shoot, of course, quickly. Although everyone says that Quickly is a shooter, he hasn't been accurate so far. You know what I mean? You can see that he is a shooter, but he hasn't been accurate so far. I'm pretty sure it's going to come and he's going to start knocking them down and he'll get that percentage up. So that group right there to me is built very well, to be a up-tempo, push the pace, run the ball, get it up the floor type of team. That first group, even if you put Quickly in there, you still got RJ, you still got Randall, and then whoever your three is, if it's Bullock, if it's Kevin Knox, I just don't feel like they're built to really run like that. You can push the pace a little bit more. Now, what you can do, to me, is on the offensive side, whether they're playing man or zone, pace to me isn't always just how many shots you get up or how fast you get the ball up the floor, but is the ball popping and moving? Pop, 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 pop. You can do that in the half court easy. Get the ball and have it moving. Boom, 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 instead of, just kind of holding and looking and watching, waiting to see, letting the defense reset, just keep the ball moving, making quick decisions. I think they can definitely do that. Like Guillermo said last night, though, I don't know, and I agree with him. I don't know if that's what Tom Thibodeau was preaching, though. Right? It seems like Tom Thibodeau is, I want to know what you guys think about that. It seems like Tom Thibodeau is okay with them playing slow.
And see, that's where I said yesterday, like, Sim, that, teaching the old dog new tricks, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's where that old methodical, like I have brought up, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, that old school basketball, old school football terminology, like you said, don't go too fast to trip over your shoelaces. But I mean, that's you, old man, not me. You know what I'm saying? So I hear you on that because again, you can tell it doesn't seem like because we know Tom Thibodeau is a good coach. So again, to sit here and act like he doesn't see the fact that we are last in transition points, we're last in, scoring off of the transition. You know what I'm saying? So with those things being said, we can't act like he don't know it. So obviously he has to be enabling it. And again, for you to start a Peyton who you see is clearly a slug, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to running the offense. I mean, he's good and methodical, but for what is for today's NBA, you got to be able to put up points and get points in the best facets. And those best facets sometimes are just pushing the break and catching the defense on a 3-on-2 or 3-on-1 or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So it has to come down from the top because I don't believe it's just our point guards and our players just don't want to play up tempo. I mean, like we know when you play at the gym, I mean, that's one of the favorite things to do is get out and run. So again, people going to push the pace. And again, like you said, Sim, it ain't all about always just streaking down the court and, trying to get a quick layup or a dunk. Like you can pass the ball up to beat a zone before they get set in. And that was what Guillermo was talking about a couple shows ago, was that you can push the ball, like you saying, push the ball up the court, not necessarily saying run the ball 100 miles up the court a minute, but kick the ball to a wing pair. Wing player, swing the ball to the big man. Mitchell turn and face, kick the ball out to the point guard. Point guard, swing it to RJ. RJ.
Oh, you muted yourself. You muted yourself. You got the hands going. You boop.
Yeah, my notifications. Like I said, I try to keep my notifications on. Real quick, but yeah, I pass the mic to G Fresh. But yes, definitely, Sim, like you said, as we see, I don't believe these guys are just walking the ball up the court because they just want to play like that. I don't believe it. I mean, so again, like you said, one big thing today in Shootaround I want to see, when we do transition, I want to see Quickly, I want to see RJ, I want to see Knox, Obi and Mitch. That's my first five. When we start running, our stuff, our transition basketball, that's what I want to see. I want to see that first five probably first, because I think that was the group he went with in the third quarter, most of the third quarter. So I would like to see them today running the break, running against the press, against the zone. So that would be my five that I would really want to see together today in practice.
Hey, first, before you go first, I just wanted to
go ahead.
So for me, right, I think, so let's look back at Tom Thibodeau, right? He's had who he's coached. He's coached Rondo, of course, Derrick Rose, Jeff Teague. Did he coach D'Angelo Russell, or was he fired before then?
Yeah, Russell.
D'Angelo Russell.
No. He did.
He did not.
No, he did it.
No, he didn't. So I mean, to me, right, he has had guys that have pushed the pace most of his times. I don't remember. I don't know. Well, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, Rondo. I forgot how he was back then. A little bit.
No, Rondo pushed the pace. He was a prototype
in Boston, right? In Boston, he pushed the pace in Boston.
Yeah, if they needed, like if it was like how Sim said, if it was after a turnover or something like that, they got in the lanes and they ran. But Rondo himself, he was just a prolific point guard. He just did everything, that a real vet would do. You know what I'm saying? He had a high IQ, very cerebral. So he just knew how to take advantage of, what coach wanted and the defense gave him.
Yeah, so I'd say that to say all this. I do believe that it bothers him. I really do. I really do believe that it bothers him that he doesn't have the point guard that he wants to push the pace. Now, again, right, and as Sim said it earlier this year, before the season started, is that, listen, there was probably a plan to bring Peyton back. Most likely it was, the way it sounded like. And I do believe that the Knicks didn't have the options really this offseason to get a point guard that Tom Thibodeau usually has. So you know what? You got to make do with what you have. You got him on a cheap deal. Pretty much the way he's looking, it's probably going to be a 1 year with Peyton. So I just think right now he has to make it work. He has to make it work whatever he has. But I do think next year we're definitely gonna probably get a point guard that can push the pace a little bit. And like you said, pushing the pace isn't about how fast you go back up and down the court and, going. It's about just having a tempo and having a rhythm for these guys so that they can, get the shots in the rhythm and all that thing. Like, again, right, us just bringing the ball up the court regular, just like, dribble, is you're getting these guys in defense. You know what? Doris Burke pointed out something that I was like, wow, that's crazy. That if you looked at the Nets last night, every one of them had a foot in the paint. They had a foot in the paint.
Well, yeah, and that was the thing when Guillermo and I were having the discussion last night, right? You gotta have them guys out there that can shoot the basketball when you want to push the pace, because if you're trying to push the pace and you think you're going to be able to get lanes to the basket, it's going to be hard because every team is packing the paint. Everyone has a foot in the paint and they're daring us to shoot the mid-range or shoot the three. So if you're going to push the pace, you got to have some guys that can knock it down from out there, which is the reason why I say that second unit is so much better suited, because that Alec Burks is in that second unit, and they're not going to have a foot in the paint. So now you got lanes for guys to slash to the basket. The first unit, is just a slow and plodding, and And I think that
they're just a half court offense.
And I don't know if like Guillermo was saying last night. He said I don't know if it's Tom Thibodeau or not. It could be Tom Thibodeau because you're not seeing that they're making any attempts to change the style of offense that they're playing.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what? Also, too, but as a coach, right, it's hard to do that, right? Because it's easy for all of us to say, "Well, they got to change it up." But if you don't got any guys,
of
that
course,
can change it up.
What I'm saying, it's hard. It is hard to say you got to change it up. It is hard to just change it up. You're not going to just change it up on the fly. But as a coach, right, in AAU games, we'd be at tournaments and we got 3 games in one day, right? In between those games, we find an open court and we say we got to switch up the way we're running offense. We're going to take this hour. We got an hour and a half before the game. This is the little fast break thing I want you to do. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to go out there and try it. And if it doesn't work, we'll go back to what we know, and then we'll go into practice and we'll figure it out later. I don't even see that first unit trying to push the ball up. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I don't even see them trying to do anything other than let's get the ball up the floor, get a couple handoffs in, get the ball to Randall, and see what he can create for somebody else. You know what I mean? G Fresh, what do you think, man?
I want to definitely bring up what a point Isaiah mentioned. I know Tibbs had different types of point guards, and it's really on Tibbs whether if he wants to break his philosophy. Remember, he had Nate Robinson. Nate Robinson is not known as a defender. So at the end of the day, what Tibbs has to do is disguise quickly. That's his job. If quickly's not getting it done, then you just have to put players around him and put a scheme where you just got to hide quickly. And you see a lot of point guards in this league where they don't play good defense, and the coach disguise, they're the point guard that can't play D. So that's what Tibbs just have to really do. It's not really that hard. Just whether or not he just wants to break quickly into the rotation and then hide them on defense. And I think that pretty much, not to say solve your problem, but at least that'd be the process of elimination.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I get that. It would then be a process of, like you said, it kind of solves it a little bit if you can mask quickly. Then, if you're gonna put quickly in that starting lineup, and he's gonna try to find a way to mask him, then you better make sure you got 4 other good defenders, that can really communicate, help him out. If his man gets past him, and all those kind of things. Quickly, man.
Yeah.
I think. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, well, because see, like if you put quickly, then you definitely put Austin on the bench. I think you still start RJ, and I think you start Knox, because Knox. Listen, once again, I said before, the defense compared to Bullock and Knox is not too different to me. If anything, I see Knox made more impactful defensive plays than Bullock, and then Knox give you the length. So I think what Tibbs has to do, you just got to live with the fact that Knox is going to may have a couple of stupid fouls, but I see Bullock have stupid fouls all game, just like Knox, and yet Bullock's still in the game. So I think Tibbs has to just live and die by the gun with quickly and Knox starting. And it is what it is. And then they're just going to have to get better within time, because I don't see where like, oh, damn, Bullock's playing. He's shutting down this guy. Oh, Bullock got a steal. Oh, Bullock got a block. I'm not seeing that. And then he's going like 2 for 8 from 3, where Knox is a flamethrower. Knox is going 5 for 6 from 3. I'd rather live with that than having Bullock, starting for us and having 33 minutes and showing up with 8 points and with no steals, no blocks.
Just to add on what you was talking about, G Fresh, real quick, and I was going to say the only thing that I would admit to giving up to Bullocks is he probably can guard 2s better. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, he can guard 2 guards better than when Knox switches, because his feet, his footwork and his feet are a little quicker than Knox's. But you spot on with that, G. You spot on.
Yeah. Speaking of other people, man, I'm hoping that I'm hoping that they get Obi Toppin some work in, let him get some contact. He played 57 seconds last night, right? Hopefully he can get some contact. He can get in and, tomorrow night against Cleveland, we're able to see Obi Toppin out there on the floor. Although he's not, giving, he only played one game, right? So we don't know exactly what he's going to give us. But from what we've seen in preseason, he wasn't giving you everything that you wanted so far. But that was only preseason games. Hopefully he can give us, a more up-tempo style of play. He also is good, in transition. He can pass the ball up. His energy, his youth, hopefully that brings something to us. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely can't wait to see Obi Toppin get back out there on the floor. I want to give a shout out to CT Pittman, man. Thank you for the super chat. Dropped me a $50 super chat. I really appreciate it. He said, just want to show some support to the channel. I appreciate you, man. Thank you very much. Without a doubt, I appreciate everybody's support. But yeah, definitely want to get Obi back out there, and then I want to get Taj out there. Nerlens Noel really is getting on my nerves. You know what I mean? He's getting on my nerves. So if I'm today in practice, if I'm I'm looking to get Obi out there, get Taj, start to get him acclimated with what we're doing. They probably travel to, because they're playing in Cleveland, right? Or is Cleveland coming to us? I think they're in Cleveland.
Yeah, we're playing in Cleveland, so it's Cleveland.
So so they probably got on a plane, traveled to Cleveland last night, and they're probably doing some work in one of the hotel ballrooms or something like that. So I'm looking to try to get Taj acclimated with some of the things that we're doing. Get Obi back out there on the floor, and get some reinforcements there, and hopefully that can, bring us a few things. Quickly last night, he was doing some work. I'm going to say one thing with Quickly before we move on and talk about some other things. I do want to talk about RJ. But one thing with Quickly, man, I want to see him utilize the pull-up instead of always going to the floater. I feel like he hits that, he goes to that floater too soon. He'll get inside and he'll be right there, just past the free throw line, and he'll let that floater up from the free throw line almost sometimes, or just a few steps after the free throw line, when sometimes he has enough time to get straight up and down and let it go. You know what I'm saying? I think a floater is a tougher shot because you're still moving forward. So now you've got to judge when do I really let the ball go, to make sure it's in. That's why sometimes you see players come up short because they're not sure exactly when to let the ball go, short or long. They're not sure when to let the ball go because they're still moving forward. You know what I'm saying? And because they're moving forward, they may ease up on the power of the shot and they hit the front of the rim. You know what I'm saying?
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say the same thing for Knox too. So I love his floater sometimes, but if he truly, like you said, he idolizes his game after KD, you'll look and see how often KD does his floater. It's very seldom, and much like you said, Sim, it's not like a leaning shot. He's straight up and just pushing it rather than like you said with Quickly and Knox. Their forward momentum is going forward, so obviously they're driving, but then they're trying to shorten the shot, which is making the trajectory come off. But again, if you can look at Kevin Durant, I've seen him drop floaters sometimes, but most of the time, like you said, he'll pull up regardless. I'm not even going to come down there and get no contact from you or even come no deeper because I know you may block my shot or can alter my shot. So I'm going to just stop on a dime and I'm up in the air. Right. So, yeah, I would love to see Knox and Quickly adapt that to their game.
Hey, Sim, I just want to say, because I got to go back to work before I get fired. Appreciate you. But no, I wanted to say one thing I've seen with Quickly, because I seen it last night, and I was just getting bothered by it because literally I seen it even before he got to the foul line that he would throw up the floater. And I'm like, dude, well, to me, that represents a couple of things. One, he knows he's not strong enough to finish around the basket yet. I think he's using a floater just so that he can, again, as you know, Sam, we're not strong enough. Use the floater. But I would love to see him get at least a couple more in the paint a little bit before he does the floater. If I was him, I would talk to Kevin Knox. Kevin Knox's rookie year, his floater was, I'm not going to lie, his floater was on point. He hasn't really gone to these last couple of seasons, but his floater was on point. I would talk to Kevin Knox about that. It's pretty much, he just has to get strong. I think one of his big things is getting stronger, which of course he's 21. He'll be fine. He got to put some muscle on. But I just wanted to say I appreciate you, Sam, Fresh, Prince, who else is on here? Shootaround, this is a great thing, Sam. And we will be back with Cooking with Chef Zay, everybody. Just let everyone know we will be back cooking some food soon. And I will definitely be doing some stuff on 3BL because I'm the king of that now. Big bro gave it to me. So we're going to be doing some stuff on 3BL and Cooking with Chef Zay. So we're going to be popping. I'll see you guys later because I got some customers and these white people don't play. So
this dude.
I'll see y'all later.
All right, man. Yeah, I mean, Quickly, man. Listen, Quickly is a worker, so that's one thing we know about him. He's a worker, and I think that's one of the reasons why Tom Thibodeau really likes him. He stayed after the game last night just to get shots up before they had to take up the court and get it ready for the Rangers. He stayed after, got shots up. I'm looking right now, he's pulling the ball up in the area where he normally shoots a floater. So hopefully, someone talk to him about, hey, go straight up and down, pull it up straight up and down. I think if he does that, you'll see him hopefully make a higher percentage of those shots. But he played well last night. He had 19 points. Now, a lot of people say bring him in at point guard. He can play point guard. I don't think he's a natural point guard. I think he's going to be more of an off guard. But like Tom Thibodeau always says, you don't got to have this natural ball dominant point guard, that's managing everything out there, because the game is so different now. You know what I mean? Before we get into anything else, talking about, maybe some future moves, let's talk about RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett, he got his shot. He started to get his rhythm last night in the third quarter. What I recognized, I went back and I watched some of that third quarter over, and he did have the ball in his hands a little bit more, as from the start to initiate the offense. But they were initiating the offense for him. It felt like not really to do anything else for anyone else. They were initiating the offense for him. But he was finding his spots, right? Mid-range jump shot at the elbow, mid-range jump shot in the short corner. Peyton hit him for an open three, and he knocked it down. But he was finding those areas on the floor. He wasn't just pulling it up from any place. He was finding spots that maybe he practices from. And I think that's important, right? If you practice from a certain spot, you got to be able to find that spot on the floor. And I thought in the third quarter, the Knicks did a good job of helping him find those spots on the floor where he practices from. And if he can start to he knows where his spots are at the elbow in the short corner. He's going to have to pull up threes when he's open. He can find those spots and then shoot from those areas. Hopefully we'll see his percentage rise. You know what I'm saying? And then he'll shoot more confident, and then that's going to lead to better shots in other areas. I know people talk about him being in the post, him posting up. I have seen him post up successfully, but he doesn't have a ton of moves. And he's not super athletic. So I don't know if he's going to be able to, execute that kind of a post-up game. It's got to grow. It's got to grow on him. Hopefully he watched KD last night. And listen, he's not going to be as fluent as KD in that mid-range because KD is KD, one of the best scorers ever to bless the NBA, right? But everyone talks about the 3 or getting to the basket, but that mid-range, as KD showed you, the great scorers in the league have a mid-range that's unstoppable. Did you see KD take 2 hard dribbles, stop on a dime, and pull up, and Julius Randle couldn't even get back to him? All he could do was stop and look. Because if you try to get back to him, he's probably going to foul him. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a move that is it's pretty much unstoppable. Boom, boom, hard, make that player commit. You stop on a dime, put the brakes on. You heard what she said. Not many people can put the brakes on like he just did. Boop, get in the air, bang, and then he shoots it with ease. You know, and I'm not saying RJ is going to have a mid-range game like KD, but if you can work on that mid-range, that 2-dribble, hard, that hard 2-dribble pull-up, hard 1-dribble pull-up, it'll be unstoppable. He's got a body more like Melo, so that's why I say he should work with Melo, not really KD. But do you think that RJ maybe unlocked himself a little bit last night? Fresh, I'll start with you.
Wait, I think RJ, I think he's always due to have a decent game. I think every 4 games he has a good game. So I think with RJ, you want RJ to have a consistent game where he's playing all 4 quarters and he's playing well. He had a decent half. But what I think kind of will help unlock RJ is it's gonna be time. And he reminds me of a more unathletic version of DeMar DeRozan. So I would like to probably see him in the offseason work with DeMar, because clearly he doesn't have any footwork. So I think if he could work on his footwork, during the off season, hopefully this third season, it could be better. But I'm just expecting the season from RJ just to kind of be up and down, up and down. We're gonna be frustrated with him a lot. We're gonna we're gonna be excited about him. So I think that's RJ's he's gonna be up and down. So as Knicks fans, we just got to kind of just go with the motions with him and let him grow. Because that's the same thing with DeMar DeRozan. He was very up and down his first 2-3 seasons, and he kind of figured it out his 4th season. And he's still young, so we just got to grow with him.
Yeah, no doubt. Prince, what do you think, man? You think he unlocked it? I don't. Listen, he's still gonna have bad games, bad shooting nights. But has he unlocked something? I mean, just what I seen in that third quarter and him really being able to get to those spots, I felt really good about it. And when he would release him, I was like, okay, he's in those spots. He looked comfortable at those spots where he was pulling up the ball.
Well, if you can remember, Sim, and I know you might do, if you remember the advice the OG Bernard King gave Kevin Knox his first season. Remember when him and Kev was like kind of besties. And remember Kev, what he told Kev is like, in my game, once I took my game to the next level, I learned how to, like you said, get to a spot on the court that I knew nobody could stop me from making a basket. You know what I'm saying? So seeing RJ and the kids do that will take their game to a whole nother level once they understand that. Certain, like you said it a couple shows ago, Sim, is like in practice, like you said, your coach, he always gonna say that crap to you. Hey man, you gonna shoot that shot in the game? Well, get your butt over there where you need to be shooting shots at, where you know what I'm saying? That's your area of the game. So seeing RJ understand that, or whoever talked to him, Johnny Bryant, his daddy, Steve Nash, whoever, to tell him, hey bro, you not that efficient a player to score everywhere on the court right now. That's just not your game. So again, find you spots, like you said, Sim, that you can go 7 from 10, 6 from 10 from those spots with your eyes closed. You know what I'm saying? So that muscle memory and just reps will overtake you in the game and you'll be a lot more successful. So definitely, I believe RJ may be on to something. I still believe that he's going to have to put the time in as far as touch, because it was still a lot of those shots where I was like, ooh, if he didn't get the chime says, the shooter's roll or shooter's bounces, a couple of them shots that shouldn't have failed. It was like the one that he put, it was like a little, it was almost like a floater, but it was a jump shot. And that thing hit the back iron so hard, and I don't know how it went in, but it bounced up, kind of rattled, and it fell in. So I was like, all right, RJ. And then he had one that kind of swirled, did like a toilet bowl, and it went down. So trust me, somebody upstairs was making sure RJ looked good, man. But like you said, Sim, prayerfully, RJ will definitely learn from this and just understand to take the game in small approaches and just say, okay, I'm a develop, like you said, Fresh. He doesn't have the footwork, so I'm gonna develop footwork so I can be on the box and I can make sure that I can get a layup. I can get somebody on my back and I can get me a layup. So it's little things like that RJ needs to work on first, because again, something like you had said, you had alluded to, and I meant to say this in the show we had last night, Sim, is that again, a lot of our players, their maturation isn't in the point of their game where they have, like you said about KD, that 3 dribble. You know how like you do that drill, the 3 dribble, you got 3 dribbles, 5 seconds, and you got to make a move or score the basket. Exactly. None of our kids in their skill set has that type of game. They don't, like you said, if we put that in our kids, every time they have to turn the ball up because they couldn't get their shot or do, like you said, KD, 2 hard dribbles, sweep through, pull up. Like they don't have that in their repertoire to get that off yet. So until like we see them grow and they really hone in on their skills, like you said, they're going to have to just find spots on the court that they feel comfortable with and they know that they can make.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Prince, because a lot of our guys are dribble guys. The only guy I say that's probably not a dribble guy, and that's Burke. Burke is he knows how to get to a spot. He has a plethora of just counter moves. He's the only guy that's on this team that could probably three dribbles or pivot, swoop under, pull up a shot, and the next guy's probably quickly. So but he's small.
I was going to say outside of quickly. And I know a lot of people may be listening in the chat probably don't want to hear his name, but Alonzo.
Yeah, Alonzo Trier. yeah. Prince froze in a precarious freeze right there. But yeah, Alonzo Trier had a plethora of moves too. Go ahead. You froze. You don't even know. You froze for a minute. You froze bad. Like.
Basically, just that thing, man. When RJ and Knox, when they get on their own, just to work on that 3 dribbles or less type of game. Like, okay, I'm a sweep, jab, step, sweep, boom, 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 shot, jab, step, sweep, boom, 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 pass. Like, that's got to be the mindset, Sim, of them. Like you said, that was what the Nets look like, where those guys, 1, 2, 3 dribbles, oh, I can't beat you, I'm giving it up. You want to sweep through? Oh, I ain't got a jump shot. I'm kicking it out. Like that mentality of, like you said, boom, 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 boom.
And you see the Knicks players having to scramble. They were scrambling on defense, and I knew I knew in the first quarter really. I said I don't think we're gonna be able to play and keep up with this pace because we were scrambling on defense. Just trying to stay up with the ball moving. And they were working hard to stay up with it, you know what I'm saying? But I was like, we can't continue to play at this pace. But look, we know that we need reinforcements on this team. You know what I'm saying? We need reinforcements, ladies and gentlemen, because what we got is clearly not getting it. So where are we going to get these reinforcements from? Ladies and gentlemen, I was on Guillermo's show the other day, and I said I got 2 guys that I want to get. One at the trade deadline if he's available, and one in this offseason that I think will take this team a step up and really put us in another atmosphere before we can go to another atmosphere. So the first guy I want to talk about that I want the Knicks to pursue if he's available is Zach Lavine. That's the first guy I want to talk about. Is Zach Lavine going to be the next disgruntled player? And if so, do we pursue Zach Lavine? So let's just talk about that first. Do we pursue him? Then we can start getting into some of the other particulars, about his contract and those type of things. Prince, talk to me about it.
Hey, hands down, I already called. I called Worldwide West this morning when I walked into the gym. Like, hey, B, we might have to talk. They're like, I told you, Sim, I ain't know if I wanted to trade the house. I know we said we was going to wait 15, 20 games, but, if I'm Tom Thibodeau, I'm saying? I'm Kenny Payne. I'm like, B, we need help. You know what I'm saying? Like, just, it's not going to change. We can teach these guys the best everything, but at the end of the day, pound for pound, at the guard position, we are going to get outplayed every day of the week. I just hate to say it. So, with that being said, I know you said we're going to get into it about how we get him, but, unequivocally, yes. You know what I'm saying? We need a 25-year-old guy who bouncing back from a injury and is playing out of this world. He's already has a pedigree to know. Well, no, I guess from what I heard, he didn't play for Tom Thibodeau, or did he? Did he play a little bit? No, yeah, I thought last night I heard they traded him for Jimmy Butler. So that means he probably didn't get much Tom Thibodeau toolage. And I'm wondering how would that relationship now, knowing that, how would that relationship work, knowing that you traded me when I was a rookie and you wanted to, have your homeboy come play my position. But with that, all that being said, hopefully Tom Thibodeau's grown up. And but yes, I think we need a guard of that caliber. Because again, like we said, we need somebody who has a strong presence as far as an alpha who can get their own shot. And that guy, as far as skill set, he's light years past RJ and anybody else on our team outside of Julius. So yes, and pass the mic to G Fresh.
Yeah, I agree with everything that you say, Prince, man. It's the guy can create his own shot. He runs the floor. He could play literally 1 through 3. People forget that he played some point guard with Minnesota at some point. So he could play some point. He could play the 2. He could play some 3, just depending on how you put the lineup. So you got a guy that is versatile. As far as defense, I don't know where he's at defensively. But when you got a guy that can get you 20 in his sleep in any given night, he could drop 40. It's like Knicks haven't had that since Melo. Julius on a great night, Julius ain't going to give you 40. But on any given night, Levine's going to drop 40. It's a possibility. If you know the matchup, if it's like Cleveland and we playing against that team, you already know you can mark 40 right there. Boom, 40 points. So I'm with it, man, because you can't wait. You don't want Julius to burn out. And that's just what I'm worried about. Julius get burnt out and he fizzles out. He needs that second guy to kind of alleviate him. And then that's going to just open up for everybody else because then, Levine's a 5 and 5 guy. So he's going to get you 5 assists and he'll get you 5 rebounds and he's going to get you 25. So, with Levine, he's going to pass the ball too, because you got some guys that, like a CJ McCollum, he's going to get you 25, but he's not going to really, pass the ball and make the right plays. So with a guy like Levine, I could see him, teams, crashing down on him. He's kicking out to Knox. Knox got a wide open J, or that frees up Julius even more. So Julius has to do less. So, yeah, I think, I know as Knicks fans, we go crazy, like trade for everybody, but I think this is one move that you would have to listen. And I know you're going to probably get into it, Sam, but it might come down whether if you say Levine for RJ, and that's what's going to probably end up happening.
Woo. Now, see, look, Zach Lavine so far this season, he's 25 years old. 25 years old, right? So he's still very young. He hasn't even reached his prime. Okay, hasn't even reached his prime. He's averaging 27.7 points per game, 5 rebounds a game, 4 assists per game. All right, he's shooting well from the field. He can stretch the floor a little bit. He can shoot the 3. He brings a lot of the things that you need for this team right now, right? Because we need a guy. While Julius can get his own bucket, you need another guy that can get their own bucket consistently, draw fouls, get to the line, put pressure on the defense, all of those things, and Zach Lavine can do it. Right? The question is, will he become available? That's the question. Will he become available, and why would Zach Lavine become available? We look at Julius Randle and what he's doing with us right now, with the Knicks. Right? He's putting up great numbers, 22 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists or something like that, 6.8 assists or something like that, putting up great numbers. He's on a great contract for the numbers that he's putting up, $19 million a year. Well, guess what? Zach Lavine is on a similar contract. He makes $19 million this year, and he'll make $19 million next year. Why would the Chicago Bulls give him up? When they're in the same situation as us, what would make us think that Zach Lavine would be available? That's my question to you, Prince.
You have to, and honestly, Sim, that's one of them questions where it's like you have to make him available. And it's not, like we ain't the old Knicks, so we're not going to give up. It ain't like the James Harden trade. We ain't giving up eight draft picks for the kid. But as much as I don't want to say it out loud, Sim, would I give up them 2 Dallas picks and, DSJ, you know what I'm saying? Because I see your face frown up when my boy G Fresh said RJ. So it seemed like that's a no trade clause right there for you. Well, and that's how I am about Knox, even though I would love to have him, but I just know Levine is going to need somebody to pass the ball to knock shots now. So we can't give up Knox. But RJ in that instance is like, okay, it's going to be tough. It's like, pulling teeth, but I might be a little bit more inclined with RJ where he's at in his trajectory of being a great player one day. RJ still is a good 2, 3, 4, 5 years away from being a consistent good player. So we know Zach Lavine is a couple days away from his prime. So like you said, the same thing with Julius. The difference with us is they don't have a coach, a playoff contending coach. They just have a whole bunch of stuff that they done thrown together and trying to figure out if it works. So at least in our case, yeah, we don't have the talent that we want, but we got Mitch, we got Quickly, we got Obi, we got Julius. We can say we got Julius, and we got Knox and RJ if you want to say that. But again, we don't have any other assets to give up outside of draft picks at this case. So it's like, we could either take on something that they don't want, like Lauri Markkanen, like his contract, and Zach Lavine to maybe help them out on cap space or something so they can do moves. But like you said, what really makes them want to do the move is you don't know for sure if Zach Lavine is going to stay there after next year. And I'm almost willing to believe the way he keeps winning, I can't see him want to play in Chicago because they don't have much around him. I know they drafted Patrick Williams, and then they picked up the kid from Duke last year. Those are pretty decent players. But again, in the East, that's getting better and better by the minute. Mm-hmm. I don't see Chicago doing anything relevant, man.
What do you think, Fresh? Do you think he would become available?
When you brought up the point that, he's the numbers that he's putting up and he's doing it for 18, 19 million. I don't think Chicago is going to basically say, all right, give us a first round pick or give us like 2 first round picks and give us to say Knox. They're not going to do that. They're going to want RJ. It is what it is. They're going to want RJ. They're going to want probably 2 picks, and they're going to probably give us a contract that we probably don't want. So It's like, as the Knicks, organization, you have to really think about, like, when you look at this free agency going in next year, there's no Zach Lavines in this, upcoming free agency. There's a whole bunch of old players that is pretty much, for next year, and then the year following that, then it's like the Kawhis and whole bunch of 1-year deal guys for this coming year and the next year, 220. That's when you have your big, blue chip guys. So you got to think as the Knicks, well, if I could have Julius and then I could have Lavine, then it would make sense all right, you know what? Maybe I can add a Conley to that mix. So if I could have I'm just throwing it out there. You could have a Conley with a Zach Lavine, with a Julius Randle, and you could probably do something, you know what I'm saying? Add veteran pieces for next year. But, I think you go ahead and you go ahead and do that, because we're going to be a team where we're going to be a mid, we're going to kind of be a 500 team. So then now we're going to be drafting 15, 15, 14, 16. Are you going to find some value there, in the player where you can say, all right, this is going to be our marquee guy? Like, you got to have to be lucky and you got to draft well. So I think those Dallas picks, you already know they're going to be in the 20s. You know what I'm saying? So you just get rid of them joints, give them to Chicago. I think Chicago's not a stable. I think we get a bad, run that we're not a good organization. But you look at Chicago, the way they draft, to them, they be like, oh yeah, two first round picks, Dallas picks, we'll take it. Oh, yeah, just give us RJ. So I think we go ahead and do it.
Oof. See, me, I'm greedy. I'm not gonna lie, I'm greedy. So I want to keep RJ and have Zach Lavine next to him with Julius Randle. But to get something, you got to give up something. I get that. So I wouldn't want to give up RJ for Zach Lavine, but I'd give up Knox for Zach Lavine. And Knox is my guy. I'd give up Knox and some draft picks.
And I respect that. I gotta respect that, Sim, because me personally, if you look at it and be like, okay, I love Knox. I really hope he's better than RJ. But for what we've seen, RJ has shown us a little bit more. But like Fred said, I can't see Chicago signing off on Knox when you got Patrick Williams and they got a couple other wings too. You know what I'm saying? That ain't worth much. But again, if you can have RJ or Knox, you gonna press for RJ.
Yeah, of course, they're gonna press for RJ. But those draft picks is what. Listen, the Knicks didn't acquire all these draft picks for nothing.
To give them away.
Because
you can't hoard them. You can't hoard these picks.
Exactly. You're not gonna hoard the picks. You're not gonna sign every single one of these draft picks, right? Sure. So you got two draft picks in this draft. 2 first-round picks in this draft. I think you still got your second-round pick. I don't know if you have any other second-round picks. And the following year,
we do.
The following year, you got your own first-round pick. I think you have a protected pick from Dallas, and then you also have a whole bunch of 2023 second-round draft picks. You're not signing all these guys. So why are you collecting these draft picks? You're collecting these draft picks to make some trades. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And you're not making a trade for Harden, clearly. You're not making a trade for Kevin Durant. You're not making a trade for Anthony Davis. You're not making a trade for Kawhi Leonard, right? You're not trading for them guys. Those guys, they're where they're at and they're staying there. Plus, they're older anyway.
Yeah.
Right? We want to be a team that's on the rise. So a guy like Zach Lavine, what's his name out in Phoenix, is off the table now for sure.
Booker.
Right? Booker,
yeah, he's off.
Forget about it. He's off. The only guys that's really on the table for you, possibly, is someone like a Zach Lavine if he's ready to get out of Chicago. Or
De'Aaron Fox.
If Karl Anthony Towns or D'Angelo Russell is ready to leave Minnesota. Now, and about Zach Lavine, I see people say, are we just, are we just making up stuff for,
No, this is serious.
This is not legit.
I mean, there's not rumors out there, so we're not coming on and saying there's rumors out there. What we're saying is there is talks. There is talks that he could be upset with Chicago. Not upset, but start to get disgruntled in Chicago. So if he does, then, that's something that you definitely want to pursue.
Hey, and we got to think, he put up with, the last 3 years of they BS. You know what I'm saying? The horrible coaches, the minutes and all of that, the one coach who was running them in the mud. You know what I'm saying? So, again, he's been a very good pro because, again, he ain't been one of them prima donnas, oh, we suck, oh, I need this to win. So again, I think, like Sim said, it could be, I'm just going to play my contract and, let the business be the business. But I don't think he wants to be in Chicago. I'm almost willing to bet. I don't believe it.
So I want to get to a super chat, and then I want to ask you one other question about it. Donald Cannon, thank you for the super chat. He dropped me with 100, and I don't even know if I deserve that, man, for real. But I don't even know if I deserve it. But I truly appreciate you. He said, "Hey, Sim wasn't able to bless you during the holidays due to the circumstances. I just wanted to say thank you for everything you do and keep up the good work. Salute to MBK and all the other broships out there." I appreciate you, Donald, man. Thank you very much. Much blessings to you and your family, man, and everybody else that's out there. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. So my last question about Zach. Are you the Knicks? Do you just call up Chicago and say, hey, let's talk? Do you just go pursue it? Or do you wait to see if something starts to happen, he gets disgruntled, and wants out? Or do you just go pursue it?
I believe in the old saying, asking you shall receive. I don't think Chicago's going to be, picking up calls. Hey, you want Zach Lavine? No, they want to see what suitors they have. But, it's going to be somewhat mellow-esque, but not to that tier. But they're going to want something. But once again, you got to project what's going to happen. Once again, you don't, for the next free agency, not to be redundant, but do you really want to pay an old guy to come in like a DeMar DeRozan to lead your franchise? No. Do you want Aaron Gordon to lead your franchise? No. You don't want those type of guys that are going to be up next year. And then you just don't know with these older superstars in 2 years whether Kawhi wants to come to New York. Like, you can't bank on that. It's too risky. But if you do have a Zach Lavine with a Julius Randle, and you are an older guy, and you like, I could do something with that.
Right.
You got to take the risk. So if they saying, hey, give us the 2 Dallas picks, we'll take RJ. Because the thing when I look at RJ, I don't think even RJ is at, even as RJ grows, I don't even think that RJ will ever be at Zach Lavine level. Zach is still getting better. Remember, Zach, I think in his second year was already averaging like 19 in his second year. He was already getting buckets. He was cooking, and he had no mid-range. He had no three-pointer. Everything was transition basketball. Now the guy's playing from the outside. And when he wants to, he could get inside. So it's like the guy, he hasn't even reached his ceiling. He's only 25. The only issue is, can he stay healthy? Because it feels like every other year, the dude is tearing the ACL. Like, you know what I'm saying? But he's bouncing right back. He's one of those God-gifted athletes where he could probably get hurt and come like he reminds me like a Adrian Peterson type. Like, gets hurt, comes back like it's nothing. You know what I'm saying? That's the only worry that I have about Zach. Can he stay healthy? But other than that, yeah, you gotta pull the trigger. Because once again, we can't bank on other guys coming here.
Nah, I hear you, man. Listen, I believe that the Knicks should be aggressive. If you want somebody, and I don't know if they want them. They might not even want them. I'm saying I want them, right?
So we want them still.
Right, and this is like part of my plan to help the Knicks take a next step forward. You go get Zach Lavine. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Prince. My bad.
I just wanted, and I was just going to keep it real short anyway, Sim. But what I was going to say is to this. You know how our Knicks PR is. So I'm going to blame it on Chicago.
They watching it.
I'm going to say Chicago.
Right.
You know the media guys watching this. You know this. Like,
we know they're watching. We know they're watching.
Right. I'm gonna say Chicago called me first, because I ain't gonna say I was shopping RJ. So I'm gonna say Chicago called me on accident. They was trying to call Boston, but they called New York. And I'm gonna say, and then because again, rightfully so, we got to do it the right way. And if I'm Leon Rose, it's gonna suck, but again, you gotta go to RJ and his people and be like, hey man, I hate to say it, but where we are is where we are. And, you know what I'm saying, I would rather put you in a different trajectory, you know what I'm saying, and let you go have your own team, your own organization, you know what I'm saying? Because, again, I don't know if the Knicks are willing to give the keys to RJ. I don't know if he truly deserves the keys. But I think if, like you said, Sim, that would put us on a whole different trajectory as a team. I think it will suck. I know a lot of, the Bear Tears is not going to want to hear it. But just from a business standpoint, it's better business to trade RJ because the bargaining chip is worth more. It's worth a lot more than what Kevin Knox is.
Wow. So you both don't think there's any way that you pull it off without giving up RJ?
Heck no. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. If you Chicago,
I mean, we know what Knox is worth, but again, when you're looking at the Knicks organization and you playing pickup ball, you're gonna say, all right, give me Kevin Knox. A smart player probably will, but somebody who's looking at it from a business standpoint and okay, what could he be? His upside. We're talking about upside now. RJ still, in some people's eyes, may have a bigger upside than Kevin Knox. And then especially the fact that, again, his position will be redundant over there in Chicago. That's their problem. They have too many forwards and wings. You know what I'm saying? And they don't have a true point guard. They don't have anything in stone. There is no cornerstones out there, so.
I mean, I guess Zach Lavine is probably their cornerstone. You know what I'm saying? Zach Lavine is probably their cornerstone. But look, all of that leads me to what the grand scheme of what my plan would be, right? You get a Zach Lavine, and then after you get a Zach Lavine, and so you're getting Zach Lavine at the deadline. Hopefully, right? You'd be getting Zach Lavine at the deadline, maybe in not free agency, maybe over the summer. Right, when he has 1 year left on his deal, but
at that rate, Sim, you probably might have to give up even less because now he's on a 1 year deal, and it's like we could wait for him to walk. At that case, so y'all could take RJ in a couple seconds, or y'all gonna lose out totally.
Man, y'all keep mentioning RJ, man. That joint is hurting me. Because, I'm trying to put those three guys together. I'm trying to find a way to put them three together. I'm trying to find a way to use that $18 million that we have sitting there for this season with some draft picks.
Teams,
they're going to need some. Well, if that's the case, then we could do something like that. Because, again, we still got DSJ. You still got all these bums. So if it was some way that we could package all them bums and take, with our $18 million in cap space, well, actually, we might need that to absorb. No, we won't actually to absorb Zach Lavine. So we could take them bums and we take $18 million and get a player that they may want. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody in Chicago be like, all right, we'll take him. You know what I'm saying? And we'll ship him instead of, RJ or Knox and just give them their picks who they really wanted. And then we get, my boy Levine. That way we might do it, but I don't know if we could package all this garbage up to get something that they will want, Sim.
I'm just saying, I'm just saying the draft picks, like them draft picks can be enticing.
Don't get me wrong, because like I told, we was talking last night, and like I told them, James Harden went for 8 picks, 4 first rounds and 4 pick swaps. Obviously, Levine is not on James Harden level. So you're going to say, like you said, Sim, you'll probably have to give up the 2 Dallases and then three second rounds. I'm with that. If you want to do that, I'll do that. I give up the 2 Dallas picks and the 3 second rounds that we picked up. That might be
they're gonna they're gonna want the 2020 picks though. They're gonna want the 2020 picks because that's when the high school guys.
See, that's why I like it. And now you asking for a little much. I'll give you Dallas's pick, but I ain't gonna give you ours. Like because now that takes us out the 2020 sweepstakes, and I don't want to do that. I don't know if he's worth 2 of those players. Zach is good, but when you arguing the facts, is he worth 2 of these 2020 picks?
Well, you mean 2021, 2020, because when do they come out?
2022.
2022.
I think it's 22.
I thought it was 23.
Yeah, we in 2021 now. We in 2021 now.
So I think it's 23.
23, I think it is.
I'm not sure.
I think it's 23.
Yeah, it's 23.
Yeah.
Well, it's the season. It's the season of 2022, but I think the draft is 2023.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, those are highly coveted. People. They was. The fact that we was able to get those. So I think we had like 3 of them.
We got like one. 3 or 4 of them Jones.
I'll give you one, and I give you Dallas, and I throw, like I said, they're gonna want RJ. It's no way we can sit here and try to play 2K trades and put the they're gonna want
leaving that trade talks without RJ. RJ is going to be the deal.
You already know. It's because guys always say in the chat, these crazy trades, but there's no way you want to take DSJ and Knox in the 2 first rounds.
What about Knox and Mitch? Would they do Knox and Mitch? I mean, I'd hate to give up Mitch too. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to keep as many as possible. What would they do with Knox and Mitch? Yeah, you still might have to give up draft picks though.
But see, here's the thing: if we do that, then they're gonna probably say, "Hey, you want Wendell Carter?" Because then it's gonna be they're gonna want to probably give us Wendell Carter. I don't know. Do you really want Wendell Carter? Yeah. I mean, I don't know. So once you add in like a guy like Mitch, exactly, it's gonna change the whole dynamic of the trade now.
Right.
Yeah.
But then. My plan is if we could get Zach Lavine, and especially if we could keep RJ. Okay. I know I'm pipe dreaming, ladies and gentlemen.
You can do that.
I'm pipe dreaming.
Yeah, it's all right.
Right, but especially if we can keep RJ, and then in the summer, if you can get him, you get Kyle Lowry. Try to pull in Kyle Lowry in the off season. Right, as you start point guard, and that goes to what you were saying, Fresh. When you got a Julius Randle and you got a Zach Lavine, and if we were lucky and still had an RJ there, now you got someone like a Kyle Lowry who he's not, your Kawhi Leonard type of guys, but he's that Chris Paul type of guy that everybody was looking for over the summer, that can help to lead your team. He leads your troops out there in the battle. You know what I'm saying? He's tough. Yeah. He's got championship experience, got playoff experience, of course.
We need the championship pedigree.
Right. You need that championship pedigree. He can shoot the basketball. He just understands how to play the basketball game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He would be, and he's going to be 34, or he is 34 years old. Right, so you'd have to pay, you'd have to deal, you're only going to have him for a year or 2, right? But that's okay. You have someone like a Kyle Lowry, and then, so if you had a Kyle Lowry and Zach Lavine and a Julius Randle, you're still young, you're still growing, and you got him who can kind of lead the charge, and then you have a young point guard like a Quickly, or maybe you get a Kyle Lowry and Alonzo Ball at the same time, especially if you have to give up RJ. If you have to give up RJ, and we're just pipe dreaming here, we're not saying we're going out and trying to sell RJ, right? But if that were to happen in that kind of move, then you get Alonzo Ball and you get a Kyle Lowry.
He could play the 2 or the 1.
He could play the 2 or the 1. Right, and then when Kyle Lowry moves on, you still got Alonzo Ball and you got Emmanuel Quickly that have learned from Kyle Lowry and ready to take over that position. You know what I mean?
I like that.
Yeah, because listen, when you look at championship teams and you look at the pattern, they draft, then they go out and get a guy that's in their like mid-20s. They give up first round picks, and what's up happening? Now you fill in the roster with veterans, and you piece it like kind of what Miami did with D Wade. You had your cornerstone with Wade. You still had Shaq, who was he's declined in his prime, but he was still great. Then you start, all right, you get Gary Payton, you get Jason Williams. You didn't get Tony, they had too many old guys, but you get the point. Even Golden State did the same thing. You had your 3 cornerstone guys, and then you just fill in. You trade for blue chip guys. You know what I'm saying? And then and that's how you build a championship team. We're not going to be a championship team if we just hoarding over picks. It's just going to be we're just going to plateau. So we have to take a risk on a young guy. And yes, they might want a farm. They might want to take RJ. But you look at certain teams, like when they traded Monte Ellis for, I think, for Andre Bogut, I think, people thought that was crazy. Like, why would you get rid of Monte Ellis for Andre Bogut? But sometimes that's what you have to do. Like, you have to sometimes trade your young piece to get a better piece. And you might have to give up some picks. That's just the realization. So part of it is probably, RJ might have to go, but you're going to upgrade. And then you become a destination. That's what, like a guy, Iggy, like, oh, I want to go to Golden State. That's how that stuff happens. It doesn't happen just holding over picks.
Right. And I hear you. I hate trading RJ. You know, I hate hearing. I'm not gonna lie.
I hate it too.
I hate hearing that. Big shout out to Nevi Packer. Thank you for the super chat. Payback Carter, you said we should trade for Beal or Karl Anthony. I am a personal fan of Bradley Beal. I love the way he plays.
Well, I like Beal.
I'm just, with Bradley Beal right now. I mean, he's 26 years old, but his contract is $30 million plus for the next 4 or 5 years. I mean, what's going on? How we doing? I mean, if you do that, you're banking on Bradley Beal being your cornerstone, your franchise guy. So
the one thing about Bill Sim, I say like he's a great shooter, but the one thing I say, not a slight on his game, but he doesn't make everybody around him better. You know what I'm saying? And not saying it like that. But again, he's a prolific scorer. He can put the ball in the hole. But as we see, he got Westbrook now, and they are losing. And again, maybe people see it wasn't John Wall. It wasn't like Bradley Beal is Bradley Beal. Until he's in the system and around better players, then you'll see really how good Bradley Beal is. But again, to me, at this rate, in the type of team he's on already, which would be the type of team he would be coming to us, he doesn't make them better. You know what I'm saying? So I can't do the Beal trade.
I mean, Bill, that would, Prince made a good point. That will lock us up. So that's pretty much all right. We're making you A1 player. I think the other thing is, and I love Bill. I love them coming out of Florida. I think the issue with Bill is he could drop 50 and you still lose. That's the sad part about it. Now, to be fair, is the team around him that great? But you will want your player kind of like Iverson. You knew Iverson would drop 50. You knew the Sixers was going to win. So it's like he drops a meaningless, and they have a fighting chance. So it's like when you watch Bill, it's like, man, you drop 50, you still lose. So it's like it's kind of like in vain a little bit. So you would have to put another piece around Bill that's better. Not Julius, but you would have to put another piece, maybe like a Kawhi or an AD or a LeBron. Okay. Then you could win games. But him being the number one tier guy,
I could see him with like a Embiid or a Karl Anthony Towns. Yeah. But like we said, in order to make that trade or make that happen, now we like the Nets. We got to fill the bench with G League guys. And that was one thing I was going to say too, Sim, is that we got to think about all them draft picks. Like we got to pay these kids. So again, like Julius already is probably going to want the max, so now you got to pay RJ, Knox. You know what I'm saying? Like all them, everybody gonna want to check. You know what I'm saying? So
listen, you get even if you get Julius,
that's a good point.
You have Julius, and if you get Zach Lavine, and then their contracts ended at the same time, you gotta pay both of them. You know what I mean? Bradley Beal, by the way, this season, man, he's averaging 35 a game. He's shooting 49% from the field. Shooting 37.5% from three, grabbing 5 rebounds a game, 5 assists per game. He is definitely hooping. He is balling. He's balling for real.
So he's putting up 10 more points than Zach Lavine is. You know what I'm saying? But
he's definitely hooping, man. Look, sooner or later, Bradley Beal is going to want out of Washington. You can guarantee that.
I believe it too, Sam.
It's coming.
They have no clue what they're doing there. He says all the right things. He wants to stay and build there, but they have no clue what they're doing. Payback Carter said, I'll trade RJ in a package for Bradley Beal. You know. Big shout out to Famous
I would
Jay.
do Levine because Levine's money makes sense, his age makes sense, his game makes sense. Bradley Beal being 31, or what is he, 29, 28? Or is he 30?
No, he's 26.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, he's 20.
Yeah,
he's 27.
He's
He's 27. He's 27.
Yeah, okay, so 27.
He was a one. He was a one and done in Florida.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So he's fun. So he got a lot of miles on him. Then, if that's the case, I like Bill, but that 33 million, man, that's John Wall, Russell Westbrook, and he doesn't make us better.
I mean,
if he was a guy who made us better, I could see it, but he doesn't.
I mean, I think he makes us better. He would make us better, but does he elevate us to a certain level?
Right. Wrong choice of words. Sorry, Sam. Yeah, you're right.
He's gonna be dropping 40, and we're gonna still lose.
And we still
He's gonna still lose.
Famous Jay, thank you for the super chat. He said, "No trading RJ." He said, "Take a deep breath, people, and stand fast. Knicks do not need to counter the disaster in the making. That's the New Jersey Nets just created." Actually, I wasn't even looking at this as a counter, man. I've been talking about, we've been talking about Zach Lavine for a couple of weeks now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? For a couple of weeks, we've been talking about Zach Lavine, and if he became available, the Knicks making a move for Zach Lavine. Now, my idea was always to try to add him with RJ and Julius and have those three guys that you can grow with for a couple of years. But Prince and Fresh don't believe that you're gonna be able to get a Zach Lavine, without giving up RJ. Yeah. And it might be right. It might be right. You know what I'm saying?
I just think the money
I think when you look at the history of the NBA, right? It's just like when you look at guys that maybe got traded a few teams and stuff like look at Larry Johnson. Like nobody's not gonna when we traded for Larry Johnson years ago, we had to kind of not really give the farm, but we had to give up some players. So it's the same thing. It's I know people that don't trade RJ, but once again, when you look at RJ, you project it to what he's going to be. Is he gonna once again? When I saw him, it's like I saw a DeMar DeRozan. I bet he's gonna be a DeMar DeRozan. Okay, all right. When you look at Zach Lavine, his game is still growing. You know what I'm saying? So it's just he hasn't even been fully unlocked yet. You know what I'm saying? Because of the injuries and him not being in a stable organization. So I would see, Zach has more upside.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's scary about Zach Lavine is those injuries, and are we getting ourselves into, another Amari situation, and I see some people in the chat hating on Zach Lavine, talking about, he's only putting up stats because he's playing for a bad team and this and that, but.
So what about Bradley Beal?
I mean, Bradley Beal's the same. I mean, it happens with a whole lot of players. Guess what? A few seasons ago, last season, before Phoenix got into the bubble, what's his name was just one of those guys who were putting up stats on a bad team.
Yeah.
They got in the bubble, they started playing good. Right?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? He was putting up stats on a bad team. That's what happens when you play on a bad team.
And anybody who's arguing that, they can't tell me that even when Zach Lavine first came in, RJ does not shoot the ball as good as Zach Lavine, y'all. And Zach Lavine was even worse of a shooter, like my boy G Fresh said. He was even worse of a shooter. He was the prototypical slasher. You know what I'm saying? So
and was still getting 19 a game.
He still put up 19. Easy money. Not ugly games, easy money. You know what I'm saying? So again, you got to think that the business.
Because RJ, when you watch him, just the eye test, RJ puts the ugly 17 up. It's he's scoring 17 this game. God dang,
nasty. That was nasty.
That was a nasty 17. You know what I'm saying? But when you look at, because I think when you look at certain players, right? You look at a KD. KD could drop 25 and it'd be an impactful 25. And you got to look at guys like that. When you watch Zach play, he puts up an impactful 25 a game. He knows when to put up big shots. When you look at RJ, you see in certain games where we have won games, RJ had hit clutch threes. clutch mid-range shots, but you don't see it as often. You don't see the consistency. Now, I will give, RJ is the younger player, but when you watch those early Minnesota games, you know what I'm saying, Zach Lavine was out playing Wiggins, but they decided to get Wiggins the contract. And people forget about that. People went crazy like, yo, they actually paid Wiggins over Levine, and Levine was playing way better than Wiggins.
Yeah.
Like, people forget about that.
We'll see, man. If he becomes disgruntled, we'll see what it is. But anyway,
PR, they watching this.
What'd you say? Yeah, Knicks PR.
Knicks
I'm
PR,
pretty
they watching
sure.
it.
Knicks PR. They pay attention to social media big time. They know when people talking about stuff. They pay attention to that social media, man.
Oh, the crazy thing, they be on the verses. Like when they had the verses, Gucci.
Yeah, I seen them.
I was watching it. I'm like, yo, the Knicks PR guy is on verses. Like,
right.
Gucci Man and Jeezy. Like, it was crazy. Like, so they watching this. Like, right now.
Payback Carter, thank you for the super chat. He said, Bill does make us better, but he'll need another all-star like Towns with a point guard. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. We had a power outage in the neighborhood, so it wasn't a problem with YouTube or anything like that. It was a power outage in the neighborhood. Everything went down, and then now we're back up and popping. So I apologize for the delay. Let me change my headphones around. All right, we back in business, ladies and gentlemen. We are back in business. Again, I apologize for that. I forgot where I was now. I think I was talking about, we were talking about Bradley Beal. We were talking about all kinds of good stuff, fun stuff. I'm going to see if I can get Prince back in here with me. And then, boom. All of a sudden, the electricity goes out and everything is gone. But anyway, I'm going to open up the lines, man. I'm opening up the lines. So you can call in till I get Prince back and we get some guys back in here. 516-405-2246. Give me a call. I want to know what you think about what I was just talking about. And if you're just joining me, we talked about what the Knicks would do in Shootaround today. We got past that point. And then we were going into my idea for what I think the Knicks should do moving forward as far as building this team out. And one of those things, there's two of those things. One of them is to go get Zach Lavine if and when he becomes available. I don't know if he's going to be available. He may not be available. But, the talks, and there's always talks in the NBA, that he may be the next guy that becomes disgruntled. And if he is the next guy that becomes disgruntled, should the Knicks go get Zach Lavine? So that's, we were talking about Zach Lavine. And we were also talking about, Zach Lavine. Because Zach Lavine, listen, he's killing it this year. He's having a good season. He's been having a good season. He's continuing to grow and excel and ascend as a player. And do you add, my idea, my thoughts is I want to try to find a way to get a Zach Lavine and add him to Julius Randle and RJ Barrett. That's my thought process in the matter as far as building this team and moving forward. And look, it would be a short-term type of thing. You can get a Zach Lavine. You can add him to this. You can add him to this bunch. He makes $19 million this year, $19 million next season. If it doesn't work, then you say, okay, we'll go in another direction. And then you got a Zach Lavine, you got a Julius Randle, and if you can find a way to keep RJ Barrett in this transaction, you keep RJ Barrett. And then you add Kyle Lowry in the offseason. So my thoughts on the matter. Some people may disagree. They're going to say, well, he's 34 years old. Why Kyle Lowry? He's old. He's an old guy. He's past his prime, this and that. I get it. I understand exactly what you're saying. But I feel like he fits. He doesn't fit the timeline. Like I seen some people say earlier, doesn't fit the timeline. But I do feel like he fits what it is we are trying to do and establish. And the same idea that people had about Chris Paul, I had the same idea, the same thought process about Chris Paul. The same thought process that you have about Chris Paul, you can have about Kyle Lowry and what he would bring to the Knicks. Right? What he would bring to the Knicks, what his experience, his championship pedigree, his toughness. You need that kind of toughness. And guess what? I got the guys back so I can get back with the guys. Fellas, I know I'm glad you guys were able to stay on. I had a freaking power outage, man. Yeah, that was the issue. Had a power outage. It just all of a sudden I don't know, something I guess maybe happened in the neighborhood and the power went out. So I guess we can get back to the discussion that we were having.
Oh, we was going at it.
We was going in.
We was having a good discussion, man, and then all of a sudden, boom, the power's gone. So let me get back to where I was, and I'm going to have to edit this up later on YouTube, but it's all good. I was reading Payback Carter's super chat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, I was reading the super chat. I was in the middle of that. All right, so let me get back to that. Let me do Wacko Knicks Fanatic first. He said, don't fall in love with Randle. Empty stats, trade him. Here we go with this empty stats again. Come on, man.
He has no one.
Randle's contribution, man. We get blasted by 60. Like every game is like 120 to 60. Like I don't know what y'all don't see. Like without Julius Randle, we get blasted by like 60 points. I don't know what y'all see.
And the thing, Prince, now that you're watching the games with Julius, you seeing him making bigger baskets now. It's not like he's putting empty stats. It's like he's putting up numbers. He's picking his spots. He's playing smarter. He's getting guys involved. It's not empty stats. He just don't have any help. Let's keep it real. If RJ was a guy like a John Morant and could get you, 20 and 20 plus, but RJ's not doing that on a consistent basis. It's not even the fact about scoring. It's about even RJ impacting the game. Right now he doesn't know how to impact the game yet. Until RJ learns how to impact the game, it's going to continue to be like this. It's going to continue where, Julius is averaging 25, 12, and 7 every night. It's going to be the same thing. So, and then he's kicking out to people and people breaking shots. And the thing is, he's kicking out to RJ and RJ's breaking it. So it is what it is. There's no empty stats with Julius. Everybody got to apologize to Julius. Kill that narrative. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. He stepped his game up. He lost some weight. He improved his game. Thibodeau got him playing at a high level. You got killed. You got to kill the noise now.
And again, his numbers don't lie. I mean, you can say they lie, but they don't. I mean, like you said, he's putting up numbers with everybody else. And it's not like, oh, I'm doing this against garbage time or I'm doing this against the third stringers. No, he is putting up numbers that is efficient. You know what I'm saying? That again, like Sim said, and it was crazy that I remember, and I went back and watched the game. It was like one of the first games, and I remember somebody was like, oh yeah, Julius don't want to pass the ball, da-da-da-da-da. And it was like one of Knox's first, wouldn't say breakout games, but he got hot. And I remember Julius orchestrating the offense and peeking over to see if he could get Knox an open shot.
Hello?
Or, waving Elfrid Payton off. Like, nah, bro, I got something on my mind right now. Where I seen him, and like Sim said, he was looking for guys. And that's a leader. So again, you can say he ain't sexy and he don't put up sexy numbers, all of that. But the dude is coming to work, and he's working.
It's something that you mentioned, Prince. He's growing into a leader now. You see him now when he's playing, he's waving guys off. He's pointing to where guys need to be at now. He wasn't doing that last year because he was a blade last year. But this year, you see him directing guys off. You know what I'm saying? And he's looking guys off with his eyes. He's looking one direction, but he's, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of those plays that Knox was shooting those threes, guess where they were passes from? It was passes from Julius.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to give Julius props.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
I don't know who was that? Who said that? Wacko Knicks fanatic. Yeah, there you go. That's why you got that. Payback Carter with another super chat. He said, Bill does make us better, but he'll need another all-star like Towns with a point guard like Lowry with him, and I think it could happen this offseason. So,
okay.
Yeah. So that's right. Exact. That's where we were at. He thinks it could happen this offseason. Caller, let me get to you. Caller, you're live. What's popping?
Yeah, it's me, Craig Mack, man. I got to get straight down to the business.
Oh, boy.
First of all, the Knicks run a vanilla offense. And RJ is averaging 17 points in a vanilla offense. The Knicks need to just go through a straight rebuild where they allow the garbage plays that they have to play. They don't allow Frank to play. DJ is garbage. They drafted Knox. Knox is when they drafted Knox, I thought they was getting somewhat of a Kevin Durant type player, but all he does is spot up and shoot. He has no dribble, no handle. Actually, RJ is the best draft pick they had in probably the last, I guess, 5 years next to Porzingis. And it's frustrating just listening to people. Like, I understand Randall, he's okay, but the offense is run through him, so he's going to have numbers. Last year, Coach Fizdale, he was a horrible coach, and now he's actually playing with a coach that actually has a system in place, so he's putting up good numbers. But can we play Obi Toppin? Can we play quickly? Can we sit down Peyton?
Bro, Obi's been hurt.
I know, but he played 1 minute yesterday.
He just came. All right, so here's the explanation as to why he only played 1 minute last night. He played 57 seconds, right? They actually weren't going to play him at all because he did not have any contact practices. Tom Thibodeau said, if I can get him in, I'll get him in. He put him in at that point, but then once he put him in, he got a little bit nervous about the matchups and decided to pull him back out. He just got back off an injury. He's going to be out there playing. I don't think you have to worry about that. He's going to play.
And we need to get rid of this Zach Lavine talk. He's a good player, but he puts up empty stats too. What has Chicago won in the last?
What are empty stats? Explain that to me.
What has Chicago won in the last 5 years?
No. What are empty stats?
I mean, he's putting up numbers, but they're not winning.
That happens to a lot of players in this league. Devin Booker was putting up numbers for years, and the Phoenix Suns weren't winning. Now they are. And he's still on that team, and he's still putting up numbers.
Was Charles Barkley? Did Barkley put up empty stats? Elijah
but Chicago's not winning right now.
No, but what I'm saying is, it takes time. Like, you got to put a team together. Devin Booker, like I just said, I heard the same thing last year when people talked about Devin Booker. People talked about Devin Booker, and then if you looked in the YouTube chat, people said, oh, he puts up empty stats. Now, all of a sudden, he doesn't put up empty stats because they're winning. He's putting up good numbers still. He's averaging 23 points per game. They have a winning record. That's, I mean, just because somebody is a good player on a bad team doesn't automatically mean they're going to be a not good player on a good team. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't automatically mean that. Zach Lavine could go to a team and maybe he don't average 27, maybe he averages 22. That's still good. You know what I mean? That's how you collect talent.
Can we see what RJ is at after 3 or 4 years of being a Knick before we start to trade him?
Well,
Can we?
Listen,
this
was just a discussion. My idea was not to trade RJ. They were saying if you're going to get Zach Lavine, you're probably going to have to give up RJ. That was the discussion. We weren't going out and saying, hey, we got to go out and move RJ right now. That's not what the discussion was. It was.
But can the Knicks just go through a rebuild? We're not, even if we make the playoffs, we're not winning the championship. So let the kids play. Let's see what we have. We destroyed DSJ. Frank is always hurt, but let him play.
How did we destroy DSJ? Tell me that.
DSJ played. He was averaging 15 a game. Now he's averaging, 2 points?
But check this out. Dallas didn't want DSJ for a reason.
Facts.
Yeah, because they had Doncic.
But I'm saying, if DSJ is this good, then you put him with Doncic. They didn't want him for a reason.
Make it work.
Rick Carlisle didn't like the way he plays and didn't think that he was going to be productive. So they pawned him off on us.
At the end of the day, the Knicks just need to go through a proper rebuild.
What do you think, bro? What are we doing right now?
This is actually the first year. Technically, last year I wouldn't even have drafted Knox. I would have went for a kid in Denver. I think Michael Porter Jr. Imagine having him and RJ.
Bro,
our future would look totally different.
What I'm saying is, how are we not doing a proper rebuild right now?
Well, when you draft people, when you have draft picks, you usually let them play. You play Knox here and there sparingly. You don't
Knox
play
is averaging
Frank.
22 minutes a game.
Okay, you don't play Frank.
And
Frank is hurt. Frank ain't playing.
Okay,
Frank is hurt.
So what happened when he wasn't hurt last year?
No, we're talking about this year. He didn't play the first game. The next 2 games he was playing. He was in the lineup. After he was in the lineup, he scored 12 points. He scored 12 points, shot 50% from the 3-point line. The next night, I don't remember how many minutes he played, but he played, and then he was hurt. And he's been out for the last 2 weeks.
You're right.
You can't play a player that's not here.
But listen, man, it was nice talking to you guys, man.
All right, Craig, man.
All
right, Craig, man. Appreciate you, bro.
Before you jump off.
Take it easy.
Yeah. Tim, I gotta say something.
Yeah.
If people gonna call in, you gotta watch the game. You can't be saying play this guy, play that guy, and the guy's been hurt. No shade, but you can't say that. The guy's been hurt for 9 games. But you can't say that. But you gotta watch the game, friend. But this narrative, once we start losing, right? It's okay, let's start rebuilding. No, we have to get rid of that because it's going to be the same thing. You look at these playoff teams or these teams. Because the thing is, we get caught up. Oh, this team is good, but you have to remember these certain teams that are good now, like Milwaukee and them and stuff like that. They made trades for certain players. They drafted maybe 2-3 guys. Well, even they drafted like 5 guys, right? They said, okay, all right, these 5 guys, we're keeping 2 of them. You take the other 3, you ship them. You take some of those picks, because even those bad teams have bad contracts with bad guys. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's get rid of this bad contract. Let's ship this guy. Let's bring this guy in. That's how you do it. We're not going to build a championship team if we just sit there and we lose a couple of games. Oh, let's go rebuild now. It's going to be the same thing over and over. No, you got to sometimes take what they call calculated risk. And part of the calculated risk, if you have to trade RJ, hypothetically, to get Zach Lavine, because at the end of the day, then as you're an older guy coming into the free agency next year, trust me, if you like a Mike Conley, a Kyle Lowry, you want to change the scenery, whoever, Mark Gasol, whatever, you might say, the Knicks look nice. You have to audition yourself for pedigree championship guys to want to come play with the Knicks. It's not going to be like, well, Julius had a good season. It's also going to be, well, Julius had a good season, but that is not good enough for me to go to the Knicks. You have to have something there. So you got to get away with certain pieces because you're not going to be able to meet what me and Chris was saying. You can't keep all these guys, these lottery picks, and pay them all. Some of them just have to go because you can't pay them all. It is what it is.
That's what it is. Let me get to this caller.
People forget about the business side of it.
Caller, you live, man. What's going on, man? What's going on with you?
Well, I see you back. I see you back with a vengeance.
Yeah, we back in the building, man. We back in the building to do it. We doing it big in 2021.
Absolutely. Peace to the Knicks family out there. Now let me cut the pleasantries.
Here we go. Here we go.
Finally,
All right.
finally, you have panelists besides a couple of other dudes that feel and see the vision the way I see things. This building, mismatch building, losing mentality, not trying to improve the team. Why? This management team, first of all, from the beginning, when he didn't address the Knicks Nation, I said it was a bad move. I said, yo, I don't like someone who gets this kind of prestigious job and you afraid. You afraid to let Knick Nation know what's your plan. How do you view the game? How do you see things? Like your offensive philosophies, your defensive philosophies, your philosophies on free agency, your philosophies on trading for guys. You're sitting here. The first move that man could have made 11 months ago was when Russell was available. He let Russell go to Minnesota, 1 point guard. After that, every other point guard since then, the season starts, all of the noteworthy free agents who would have been free agents in 2021, whatever, signed, gone. Okay? So now what's your plan? You plan on tanking for 5 more years? Is that your plan? James Dolan fires people 2 years in for not doing what you say you were going to do when you got the job.
Facts.
Actually, I can't go against you on it, brother. I can't go against you on it.
We don't have, you right, B, we don't have 5 years to wait for RJ or Knox or Frank even. Like, we don't have 5 years to wait. We don't.
You have to be aggressive.
And I
don't give a
I said it to you before, Sim, and you were like, well, we can't pay attention to Brooklyn. You have to pay attention to Brooklyn. They're your competition. They have three of the top 12, top 10 players on their team. Whether they go to the finals or not, they're in our city. You think that James Dolan is not watching this?
Yeah, but I'm not going out and making a crazy move to try. There's nothing we can do right now that is going to match what they did. So why go out and make a crazy move? I mean, I'm not saying don't make a move to get better. Of course, we make moves to get better as a team, but not because they made a move. I'm not going to go out and say, oh, we just going to throw it all in and go get John Wall just so we can make a move. You know what I'm saying? We still got to be smart and calculative. And, they did what they're doing. I get it. I hope that it crashes and burns over there. Trust me. I hope Kyrie says, I'm not coming back. James Harden, goes to Weight Watchers and it don't work. You know what I'm saying? I hope it crashes and burns. But I want the Knicks to build, and I'm not opposed to trading anybody on the team. I've always said that any player is tradable at any time. In the NBA, any player is tradable. You know what I'm saying, for the right package. And I'm not opposed to trading anybody to get better.
I just don't understand it. You have, top 1, 2 prestigious job in all of sports, and you're afraid to talk to your fan base. You're afraid to make forward progressive moves. Why? You really want to sit here? I like RJ. Before the season started, I remember we was talking, and I said, well, I can't say RJ is untouchable, whatever. He's a second-year player. I don't know. There may be a move. There may be a deal that comes up. A 4-team trade comes up yesterday. We're not even mentioned to have been involved in that deal. How is that?
That's true.
Why?
That's true. I wanted to be involved.
We have untouchable. Hold on. We couldn't have used Levine. We couldn't have used Oladipo.
That's true.
You feel me?
I would have rather have LeVert than Oladipo, but I get what you're saying. I get it. I would have loved to have Caris LeVert come here and add another. We could have definitely used another young guard here.
You know what I'm saying? Scared money don't make money. Anyway, Knicks family,
Right.
Y'all know what it is.
Appreciate you, man.
Nice.
Thank you for the call, bro.
Peace, family.
Peace.
That's love.
Listen, look, I'm all for making moves, man. I just want to make the right moves. I don't want to just make, I don't agree that you got to make a move just because Brooklyn made a move. To me, you're asking for trouble then. You know what I'm saying? You still got to, you got to make good, smart moves for yourself, not just because they made a move.
Yeah.
Yes,
it's about...
Oh, you
Go ahead,
get it,
Fred.
Chief. Oh, what I was going to say real quick, just basically, we wasn't keeping up with the Joneses. Like we said, we know we had the technical difficulties, so some people might be hot. But I told you, G Fresh, when we was in the blue room, they was gonna kill us. Then, like I said, we gonna start some fights tonight. Like with this,
exactly.
Trust me, this is gonna start some
it
fights.
out.
But like he said, and we're not trying to keep up with the Joneses. This is just a true, like Sim said, just making the team better. And again, it ain't about, we got to be better tomorrow. It's just setting us up for the next step, the next trajectory of where this program and our organization needs to go so people could quit talking to us like they do now about how dysfunctional and screwed up and, all of this stuff that we are. Again, we have to start to look at some of these things. And we're not saying we want to give away RJ. Shoot, like Sim said, we would love to keep him, but in the bigger scheme of thing in business, you can't pay all these guys, and they're going to want something back for us to take that step. And again, we will be in the perennial NBA cellar if we wait 5 years for all these draft picks to grow up and become something. It just won't happen, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about making calculated risks. You look at even when the Houston Rockets, when they made some trades, people thought them trading, certain guys. I think it was Vernon Maxwell when they won their first championship. Otis Thorpe. People thought that was stupid. Like, why would you get rid of Otis Thorpe? They're younger. Vernon Maxwell for Clyde Drexler. Well, guess what? They won another championship. You name one championship team, and I could pretty much tell you within that 3 years before they won that championship or a year, they made a calculated risk. You have to make a calculated risk. My thing is, RJ, he's not going to be better, and he's not going to be at Zach Lavine's level in the next 2 years. Zach is going to continue to get better. So why just jumpstart it, get Zach, and then once again, whoever you want to get. But once again, you got to make calculated risks. You can't just sit here. I'm going to beat a dead horse. Over here, whore over young talent that you're not playing and whore over picks that are going to be, that those Dallas picks are going to be 23rd, 25th. You mean to tell me all those picks are going to be Emmanuel Quickly? Heck no, they're not. They're not going to be all Emmanuel Quicklies. Or you're going to package them and then get another lottery guy that in 4 years you're going to have to pay anyway, where you probably ain't going to have no money, because you're going to be over the salary cap, because you got to take calculated risks. And it is what it is. So I agree with Raw, Hebrew. bro, you gotta make some splashes. We missed some opportunities where we could have easily, if we wanted to, get some guys. You know what I'm saying? And no one's coming to New York, and we're going to continue to be that franchise that's just in purgatory because we're too scared because we're so worried about what the media is saying. Oh, we made this move, typical Knicks move. People's going to troll the Knicks until this earth dies. You know what I'm saying? So forget about what everybody thinks, and you make your move and you live with it.
Yeah, and Jermaine, you said, why are they talking like they know we're not making calls? We didn't say that. We just said we were talking about potential scenarios and what you might have to give up in those scenarios. We didn't say anything about the Knicks not making calls. I don't have a clue if Leon Rose made phone calls or not. He could have called every single team in the league yesterday. I wouldn't have known. None of us would have known. We didn't say they're not making calls. We just talking about the fact that you got to give up something to get something. That's it. That's all we're saying, bro.
And one thing I would add, and with Raw Hebrew, I'm gonna kind of go devil's advocate. Leon Rose seems like the kind of guy, if he's gonna make moves, you're not gonna know about it. Certain GMs, they're very loud about what they're gonna do and how they're gonna do it. So Leon Rose might have something up his sleeve because if you notice in the offseason, like that, wait, he got Alex Burke. How you pull that off? There was no rumblings about we getting Alex Burke. Wait, we got Austin Rivers. How the heck that happened in that contract? Because easily Austin Rivers could have got $10 million somewhere else or $12 million, but he's like, I'm gonna come for the Knicks climate. So don't be surprised, guys. You hear it first. Don't be surprised he makes a crazy move and be like, oh, snap, I didn't even know that was happening. So Leon Rose got that mafia type of that mafia type movement that he got. So don't be surprised. We wake up in the morning and we see a trade and be like, yo, I did not know Leon pulled that off.
Nah, I agree with you there. Let me get to this caller. Caller, you live. What's popping? Hey, yo, you there?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, what's going on with you, bro? I'm good, brother. How you feeling?
Nothing much. How you? Happy New Year and the rest of the crew, by the way.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Same to you.
Listen, I just look. I think at the end of the day, I think the Knicks at some point have to make some moves. I'm not saying look at what the Nets did, but learn what they do, but don't like copying them. You get what I'm saying? Because at some point they got to make some move because. I get that we have to grow and develop, but how long is too long? I mean, you look at teams right now. I mean, I was on Facebook recently, and I look at there's a clique, like a group called Knicks Clique. It said one person said, oh, he's created the Knicks, being a fan of the Knicks, and created the Nets fans. And I saw another post that KP is flourishing right now. Look, listen, I believe in the new regime. I get it. It's only one. I get it. They're new here, but they cannot make the same mistakes as the previous one and Steve Mills and Scott Perry. Because if they keep on doing it, there'll be no stars are gonna be here. Because I know that people will bring up the Dolan part. Look, I'm not saying I'm a Dolan fan per se, but they always, every time when we make a bad move in some respect, they like to point the finger at Dolan, even though that Dolan has been recently stayed off of it because you hear what he said, he's not involved with the basketball activities. Only Mills and Perry, which have not been good. Hopefully, by the time the trade deadline starts, let's hope that Leon Rose do something. Because he has to do something like trading, pick, like, for example, maybe Payton or any type of player who we felt that they were not part of the group. And I love Randall. I would love to keep him. That's all I'm going to say. But hopefully the Knicks have to do something before it's too late.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what we're talking about when we say it's time for a shakeup. Obviously a trade is probably not coming right now or anything like that. Any moves I don't think are coming right now. I know the Knicks said that, they wanted to wait till after 20 games to see where they are. They'll probably want to see, what happens when we get all these guys back. and then they evaluate the team and look and see what they could do. They didn't save that $18 million for nothing.
Right.
They're going to use. If they don't use it, then that money gets split up amongst the players that's on the team. But
Okay.
you better
let me ask
believe
you-
they didn't
let me
acquire
ask you
draft
three,
picks.
a question. One last thing before I go.
Yeah.
By the time that the season started, in some respect, do you know it's going to be a complete roster? Do you know it's going to be changes during the season? In your heart?
Does who? Do me as a fan or?
Yes. It doesn't regardless. Do you know? Do you have to do you know that this team? You know what? You're gonna sometimes down the road in the season, they're gonna be changes. Not big, but changes. You say, okay, they're in the right direction.
I mean, when I go, you go into a season, depending on where you are as a team, if you're a championship level team, then no, you're probably like, it's not gonna be any changes. We're rocking out. We're trying to go to the championship. If you're a team like the Knicks, then you figure, there's probably gonna be changes unless that team comes out and they're on a rise. Then you say, okay, we like what we got here. But if your team is not on the rise, and even if your team is on the rise, you're trying to figure out ways to get you over the hump, to get you, better and better and better. That's the goal till you get to that championship. So, anyway, hey, I appreciate you, my man. Thank you for the call.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. But hey, listen, like I was saying, the Knicks didn't accumulate. They kept that $18 million there so that they can use it if something comes up. They got those draft picks so that they can use them.
Yep.
It's going to happen sooner or later. But, guys, I appreciate your time, man. After every game, I'm doing this show, the Shootaround, and it's going to go into all different types of topics. My man brought up KP. He said he's seen a post that, KP is doing this and that. KP came back and played one game. He scored 16 points. I mean, was he looking good? Scott O said KP was looking sweet his first game back. Oh, okay. That's cool.
Good for them.
That's all I can really say. That's cool. Let's see if he's back for more than one game.
Yeah.
Or 2 games.
Yeah, let's see if he
or more than
stays.
2 months. Let's see
Word.
Because, CT Live, thank you for the super chat. You said Knox, DSJ, and 2 seconds for Rozier and Monk. I mean, Monk is kind of, Monk.
Monk's out the league, bro. Monk is a cokehead. What are you talking about?
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's cokehead, bro.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we definitely don't want him in New York.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. What we watching here?
Anyway, man, I appreciate you guys for staying on. Even with as the power went down, thank you guys for staying on, man. I appreciate it. After every game, just remember, after every game,
appreciate it.
Between 11:30, 12:30, I'll be on. It's called the Shootaround, and we're just gonna talk about what the Knicks can do, should do, and stuff like that. We're just gonna shoot around, talking about different ways to improve the team. And of course we'll kind of rehash the things from the previous game. So tomorrow I'll be on around 3:30 to do the game preview, because the Knicks play the Cleveland Cavaliers tomorrow night, and then of course I'll be on the post game. All right. Any last words you guys want to get in? Prince, we'll start with you before I get out of here.
Hey, y'all, don't kill me and G Fresh, man. We just was shooting around this morning, man. We just trying to make the team better. We were sitting in the war room with the brain trust, and we just throwing stuff at the wall, seeing what sticks. Everybody understand, y'all know, like we have literally one of the worst guard, top to bottom guards in the league. So we have to get better, guys. And I know we don't want to trade some of our favorite players. And again, I can't believe even it's coming out of my mouth that I would be willing to trade Knox. But again, I think Knox is a better complementary piece for our team. So I would definitely want to keep him. But, like Sim said, we are all, tied to this and not one individual player. So with that being said, anything that the team can do to get better, I'm all for it. If RJ gets better, I'm all for it, keeping him. But again, we understand the landscape of the NBA, and you need real bona fide stars if you want to be a part of the discussion. So again, until we can get the cheat code, we got to keep coming to shoot around and keep getting stuff together. But Sim, I appreciate you, man, for letting me come in here and, let off a little bit of steam after last night. But again, man, look forward to seeing the family. MBK, great show, G Fresh. Look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow, though.
All right. G Fresh, anything you want to get in there before we get out of here?
Man, I just thank you for having me, man. You're going to see me a little bit more often. I had a good time with you guys. So, a little sidebar, if you see behind me, I do customs on sneakers. I do restorations. So, I did this, you know what I mean?
I see that.
So,
yeah.
holla at me, G Fresh on Instagram, YouTube. I do customs. I clean sneakers. That's what I do. It doesn't matter what it is, whatever. You want some nice Knicks customs, holla at me. But yes, pretty much that's all I want to say.
I got some Columbia. I got some Columbia Jordans. I might have to ship.
Hold on.
I got some Columbia.
You say Columbia's. I got some right here that I got to fix. Right here.
Oh, that's how mine look. I got some look just like this.
Yeah, so I'm fixing these right now as we speak. So, yeah.
Okay,
so
that's what's up. You said on Instagram is G Fresh?
Just like on my name. Yeah, just like that. You follow me right there, man.
No doubt. All right. Yeah, definitely, man. Make sure you go check them out. Go get them custom sneakers, man. I appreciate it. And, man, I'll catch y'all later, man. Be peaceful. Ladies and gentlemen.
Peace.
We are out of here. I see someone's trying to call. It's kind of late now. Show is over, man. Yeah, they try to sneak in there. Be peaceful, ladies and gentlemen. We're out of here. As per usual, spread love. And thank you for sticking with me through the power outage. I'm out of here.